news with the Cubs. We do have some updates regarding the free agency of Carlos Correa and Dansby Swanson, and it's going to be all about fan interaction as well tonight. Come on in and join us.
Our Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Wednesday episode, originally recorded on a Tuesday evening. There's some Tuesday Night Live here on YouTube on the audio side post-day. Thank you whenever and wherever you may be listening, and thanks for making us your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. If this is your first time here, please subscribe right there, smash the like button, join the chat as we get that up and rolling here in a few minutes, and we're excited to be with you. Sam, there were some updates today, this morning. It looked like maybe there was some momentum for maybe not a heavy news day, but at least maybe some progression as the ball keeps moving to the end zone for one of these guys, Correa or Swanson, but it kind of leveled out, and so we're going to try to break it all down.
Yeah, we could see comments, which is awesome.
Good.
Yeah, so I'd like to start the show by asking you kind of who your sources are, because this morning I was busy, and you know I was worried about my soccer game, and all of a sudden I see a tweet from our shared account, saying a lot of things, and I didn't have any of this info. So please indulge me and the people. Who do you know? And is it correct information?
No, it's no inside sources. It's just what I'm reading and what I'm hearing. And I'm making connections off that and starting to make some claims. And really my big claim, is the title of the episode, is the Cubs truly are one of the finalists for Correa and Swanson. They've made it now, I would say, to the red zone. And in order to get the ball across the goal line, it's going to take a lot. And it's going to also take a lot of money and a lot of years. But they're now in this grouping of which they are a finalist. So the reason for my excitement this morning is this. So let's just break down the trio of teams that are firmly involved on both players, right? So you have the Cubs, you have the Giants, and you have the Twins. And those are on both players. And then the Dodgers and Red Sox are kind of hovering and covering on Swanson as well. So former MLB GM Jim Bowden, now of The Athletic and Sirius XM, reported this on Tuesday, quote, "There have been indications the Twins and Cubs have the inside track," on Correa, that is, "but it only takes one owner from another team to step up at the last minute to change the equation and pull off the deal." So I'm pulling out inside track from that. That seems like pretty strong verbiage. And I guess that would be an adjective. I guess that would be an adjective. And then, so that was for Correa. Now here's on Swanson. Quote, "The Cubs appear to be the most likely to sign Swanson if they don't get Carlos Correa." So to me, that's pretty plain language. And then at one point, you did have Russ Dorsey from Bally Sports Network and the Stadium. He's also been on Marquee here and there, formerly of the Chicago Sun-Times. He reported about midday that Swanson's market was heating up. Not quite sure about that, but that is what he reported. So, just based on those things and now trying to connect the dots, and even that one sentence from Bowden, the Cubs appear to be the most likely to sign Swanson if they don't get Carlos Correa, then I have made a decision to feel better about this situation. And I think, to me as a fan, optimism has returned.
Wow. First of all, I'll do your position here. Hit the like button. We're gonna listen to we're gonna get to everybody's comments. A lot of highs, hellos to everybody. Appreciate everyone taking their time all over the place to listen to this show. We don't have any major news to report. If we did, we of course would. This is more of a let's get together. misery loves company or excitement loves company. Matt, out of nowhere, has taken some sort of optimistic pill and feels much better than I do about the current situations. However, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, right? They're the finalists for both. They're at the red zone. How can't they screw this up? Well, here's how they could screw it up. They've waited a really long time, and they're one phone call away from the Dodgers or some big market team saying, "Hey, you know what, Dansby, we want you. We feel like that you're going to be around, and you're going to be the only shortstop around the next couple of years. We'll give you 10 for 300." And then Correa goes, "Well, okay, well then I want 11 for 350." And the Cubs are out of the race. So it's very easy to see how they could be out of the race. I hate to be pessimistic. I hate to be cynical, but I agree with you, Christian. I'll believe it when I see it at this point. I'm surprised it's taken this long. It better get done, Matthew.
Yeah, in terms of timeline, Sam, I don't know if I am as focused on that. Of course, as a fan and just kind of where our culture has gone, I would like for this to get done, but
I'm looking at comments while you talk.
and you're wondering why, what is Correa waiting for, basically? Because now he's dictating not only himself, but likely Swanson's deal as well.
But let me just cut you off for 1 sec.
Yeah.
I think Correa can wait as long as he wants.
He
can wait for Swanson. If Swanson gets a big deal, then Carlos Correa has all the leverage right now. He might as well go to a private resort and eat grapes out of somebody's hand because he has all the leverage. Can I say one more thing before you continue? Because I have it knotted down, and I just want it's just a little nitpicky thing, and then we'll get to everybody's comments. Did you have a chance, Matt, to see the Cubs Twitter today profiling Christian Hernandez?
No.
How tone deaf is that? It was this whole tweet about, hey, track Christian Hernandez's journey, the 19-year-old, this and this. Let me tell you something. By the time Christian Hernandez's journey is done, I'll be sipping oatmeal out of a straw in a nursing home. Okay?
Oh, come on, man.
I'm trying to win in the next 5-10 years. I don't want to hear about this 19-year-old right now when there's two stud shortstops available. Sorry, go on.
Oh, come on. You got to slow your roll, player.
All right, sorry.
They're trying to highlight the top prospects. They've had a great series going on. It's great filmmaking.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know if it's a tone deafness there. I think that's a little bit of a reach.
Well,
all right.
I got a long reach.
You used to play basketball. So I'm going to highlight some comments here in a minute or two. Okay.
My buddy Jeff had a funny comment.
Okay.
Matt, I'm seeing stones that need turning and mountains that need moving.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jeff, so do I. It's not that went away, but I do think there's a chance that a strong chance now, based on me hitting the pause button. And not to say I didn't think this the last couple of days. Make no mistake, we have gone in strong the last couple of shows. And now I think I am slowing my own roll a little bit. And I do think that this is going to get done. Now, what are the ways in which that happens, or what's all the detail behind it? I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall, but I do think Correa holds the cards. I think it's extremely unlikely that Swanson signs first. If Swanson signs first, that probably means that somebody bumped up his deal, right? So that would be interesting. I don't know if the Cubs come out on top in that scenario. But it seems like they're doing what they can right now. And I also want to harken back to something shout out to Argentina. Nice. Correa and Narvaez would be good. Yeah, I'd love for them to do that tonight. You must be. You're really happy right now, huh?
Well, not as happy as you. Did you have some sort of mental health day today? Did you get like a facial or a massage or?
No, but I do feel good. I
keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Spread positivity. That's what they say. It's the holiday season. I haven't been happy in 15 years.
Do you remember last week when Scott Boras said he made the Tom comment about Ricketts and money?
It all blends together. I feel like I've heard 80 different things, but yes, I did hear. I remember the Tom's banging his drum or whatever.
Well, today I was thinking about it, and I think that I'm going to make the claim that the Cubs have a good offer already on Correa.
So what? He hasn't accepted it yet.
But that okay? He could wait.
No,
let's get the back and forth going. I'm just saying they have a good. They might have a good offer.
It reminds me of
and he might accept it.
It reminds me of Illinois basketball outside of the great Brandon Paul, who's a personal friend. When we almost got Jalen Brunson. Hey, Derrick Rose and John Shire. It's like you put in a good offer and you come in second place. You know what that does for me? Nothing.
I know second place would be damaging. We would light a fire audio version, but here, let me say this. I agree with everything you're saying. Everything that you've said today is correct. It's taken a lot longer time than I thought, and I am noticeably playing the anxious, antsy role here. And for whatever reason, over 24 hours, you've turned into the calm leader of this brigade, and God bless you for that. But I said I ultimately think they end up with Dansby Swanson. I think that makes a lot of sense. I would love Correa. Somebody put on here that signing Correa will make other free agents come here in the future. I think that's 100% valid. That was earlier in the show. Okay. But for me, I'm apprehensive about it. I can't be calm about it. I feel like I could wake up tomorrow morning and Swanson's a Cardinal as much as he is a Cub. I don't know. I don't have your sources, apparently. Yeah, apparently not.
I thought I was one of your sources.
I thought so. Yeah. I do think there's a chance that this happens, Christian. That it isn't an 11-year deal because Turner and Bogarts both got 11 years. I think you could see 330 over 8. Again, I'm not a math major, but someone wants to punch the calculator on that AAV. That's a lot, but I do think there is a chance.
Just over 40.
That's a lot. I think there is a chance that they do a 35 AAV for Correa, but 7 or 8 years. He made 35 last year. He set a record for AAV for an infielder. I think he would want to be at that again, would be my guess.
Let's pivot real quick. I want to get to some of these questions. Peter F. Guys, please talk catcher and an ace. Well, we don't have an ace, Peter, and we're not going to get an ace. We do have 4 very solid pitchers that are pitcher to contact guys, to your point, that will be elevated by a really solid defensive catcher that's still out there and a defensive shortstop that could bump Nico Horner to second base for great infield defense. Matt, are there any catchers out there? I've seen Navarez. There's Danny Jansen, who's tradable on the Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. Is there any catcher that anybody likes or wants that wants to put that in the chat? I firmly can't believe they missed on Vasquez at 3 years, $30 million. I think that's the exact type of deal I expected him to get. I thought that's the exact type of deal the Cubs wanted to hand out this offseason.
Plus, he has an offensive profile.
Fly the Dub says catchers Varsho and Barnhart. Varsho from the Diamondbacks, he's a really good player. You'd have to give up a lot to get him.
Is he still catching?
On Arizona. I think he catches and plays outfield a little bit.
Okay. I'll put that one on the screen there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Varsho as an option unless you're giving up a lot. He's a really good player, and I don't know.
It's going to be I would be surprised if it was a trade unless it's with the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
Jansen and Kirk. Otherwise, the main free agents are Narvaez, Barnhart. I think Austin Hedges is out there. You really shouldn't have to go too much beyond Narvaez at this point because he could swing it a little bit. He's a defensive catcher, but the better guys are off the board unless you were to make that trade with Toronto.
Yeah, and I think the catching thing's tricky because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know how great these catchers are defensively. I literally just look at the analytics at that. I'll
Yeah,
admit it.
I know Barnhart has taken a big dip on both sides of the ball. You know,
Yeah, that's
Rich,
what
he's
Expedition G has just said that he's not
yeah,
even good a defender
where
anymore.
he's at. Where he at?
He's on the
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
right.
I don't know. He commented
Right here, right here. So
or she.
Barn
We don't. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl.
Barnhart used to be Gold Glove winner, but he has regressed in a major way. He's been with Detroit the last couple of years, so we'll see about that. But
Hang on. Let me just say. I just want to say.
our show
Somebody
again.
Pete. No. I hit the wrong thing. Peter asked. Here it is. Peter asked, Amaya's not ready. He is injured. The injury bug. And we're starting to learn that with some of these farm system guys. The injury bug's a real thing. I mean, ask the White Sox about that. Amaya's been hurt continuously. What's his most recent injury? I know he had Tommy John, then he hurt his hand. He's not close to being
Foot
ready.
or ankle,
His
I
foot.
think.
Yeah. So anyways, all right. Well, Matt, do you want to read? Let's read an ad. And
Yeah.
Get into more comments. So keep them coming and tell us what you want us to talk about. Any questions, any comments? We'll try and get as many as we can in. We got plenty of time here on this crisp winter Tuesday evening.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every pro and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports. They've got it all at betonline.net. They're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay, I haven't exactly seen this question in the Sam.
Yeah.
But in terms of, where they finish in the Correa and Swanson standings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that's something that we have harped on the last few shows. So let me give you this question, because I think this is a thread from some fans, right? What if Jed makes a competitive offer, but the player simply signs with another team? How would you respond to that?
We've covered this already. This isn't a participation trophy.
Right.
His job as the general manager of the team is to get guys to want to play here and win. So yeah, of course, if the market gets out of hand and Correa signs for 11 at a $40 million a year thing, yeah, okay, I get it. But unfortunately, that's just how the business works. Jed Hoyer makes a lot of money and has a really important job. His title is president of baseball operations. How many of those guys are there in the world? Not
30,
many, right?
Yeah, 30.
You have to get it done, right? You just do. John Lester, Theo had connections to him and was able to get it done. If we come away from this offseason and Jed says, hey, we had great offers on the table for Swanson, Bogarts, and Correa, and they wanted to go elsewhere, that's not, well, he tried. That's not how this works. This is the big leagues. This is professional sports.
What are your thoughts on Victor's comment? I also saw it in other versions earlier as well. If Jed is simply really banking on the graduation of prospects and perhaps being overconfident, I wouldn't say he's overconfident, Victor, and the others out there, but where I do see a potential roadblock there is the lack of trade activity. So if there was somebody you feel like you could acquire, although the Davis and Canario injuries don't help, but if there is somebody you would want to acquire, there's going to be a time and place to say goodbye to those guys. Otherwise, the main prospects, it's still going to be some time. So you do need to still add your team with proven players. And I think that's what they're trying to do right now.
Here's an interesting comment. I've gotten a lot of this. Why give Correa superstar money? He's never topped 26 homers, 100 RBIs, and only topped 100 runs. He's a career 280 hitter with no longer runs. Decent numbers, sure, but hardly those of a superstar. And the answer to that question is because that's what the market is demanding. And is he a superstar or a star? I think we're picking at straws. Whatever he is, XX, he helps you win baseball games. He has a WAR above 6, right? If you get Carlos Correa, you go from a 78 to 80 win projected team, give or take, to an 85 to 86 projected winning team. So if the market demands that he gets superstar money for that, that's how it works. The Cubs have already proven that they cannot predict the market correctly, because if they did, they would have just signed Correa last offseason for probably a way more team-friendly deal. So yes, I understand when people say, well, who is a superstar then? I mean, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, you know what I mean? Jose Ramirez.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Bryce Harper. There's not that many of them, but there's also not that many at a premium are defensive shortstops that get hit, right? So if those guys aren't going to be around, who are you going to get instead of Correa? You can't look at it as Correa's numbers. You have to look at, like, who do you have instead? So you have Horner at short instead, and then Madrigal at second base. You could replace Horner with Madrigal and go get Carlos Correa. That right there, that move is worth what the market is paying him, in my opinion. Is it? And I'll go this. Isn't there an injury factor, Joe? Yes, of course there is. There's a huge one. And that's why I've become a lot more optimistic on the Dansby Swanson front.
Sure.
That might be a safer, higher floor.
Yeah.
But Correa's a much higher ceiling. My whole thing is this, guys. One of those two is fine with me, because you're showing your fans and you're showing the rest of the league and you're showing the players around the league you are serious about trying to win baseball games. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I do think there's an injury concern, especially because it's a back issue. And I think
scroll up.
I think that could be a hang-up for potentially that in terms of long-term years, potentially. But yeah, Swanson played, I think, all 162 last year. I know it was within 5 or 6 if he didn't. Right now, the early projections, Correa is a 5-win player for 2023, and Swanson's a 3-win player. Just for that reference for everybody.
Yeah, and those are both low. I mean, what was Swanson last year? Almost 6, right?
He was 6, yeah.
Yeah, so
I think they both were.
Yeah. Anyways, look, you could debate till dawn on whether these guys are actually going to play towards their contracts. John Lester became probably the greatest free agent signing in the history of the organization. Probably was a dumb statement. He for sure was. Jason Hayward, one of, if not the worst. But at the end of the day, you have to take swings, right? It's about taking swings and trying to better your baseball team. I think Jed Hoyer made the right moves in trading away the core players. I've said that, and I'll say that again. But those moves mean nothing if you're not going to try and better your team, if you're just going to sit on them and wait for these prospects to grow into things. That's what the Royals do. That's what the A's do. That's what the Rays and Guardians do at a super, super high level. But you're the Cubs. Your luxury is, guess what? We can wait for those guys on the farm system to get here, and we can also compete and try and win games. And I think now's the time to do that with this free agent class and the so-called finances that we claim to have.
Absolutely. And we showed the projected lineup if the season has started today to this comment here. Yeah, they need more than one person. Even if it is Correa or Swanson, they do need to supplement even those players.
I think
one of those guys will immediately bat second or third.
Right.
But then there's other pieces that you do have to fill. Yeah, they have needs.
I think the dream offseason was to get one of those two guys,
okay,
right? Hit on the defensive center fielder, which they did. I'm talking offensively here.
Yeah.
And then trade for Murphy and get a third baseman that could hit competently. Because, yes, on paper, you still don't have that sexy slugger MVP candidate, but you're pretty much solid at every position with a lot of upside. Now, agree with that previous comment. You're missing third, you're missing catcher, you have some questions at first, but it's still the move that has to happen before you could think about anything else on the margins.
Do you feel there's a path to a successful offseason?
No.
If there's other needs? Okay.
No. With all due respect, obviously, Dustin, thank you for listening to the show. No. If you go out and get Mancini, you go out, you get Narvaez, you go out, you get another really good pitcher, but you miss on one of these two guys, I firmly believe it's a complete failure. Because how many guys in Major League Baseball do you have that are going to be four all-star caliber shortstops in the same offseason available, and it's a position of need for you because you have, second base is open. Like you can't miss on all four. You can't.
Right.
You're just at that point, as the kids say, you're just unserious.
All right, let's contemplate this from Emmett. Why didn't Jed jump into a signing earlier?
It's a hindsight question, but it's a fair question. We've talked about it on our program multiple times. He was terrified to set the market, and setting the market probably would have been his safest bet.
Yeah, you do look at that with some
hindsight. I mean, it's hindsight, but it's true.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. You mentioned earlier about maybe some preferences at those other spots. Do you have any, Sam, or not necessarily?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Do you have preferences at catcher, first, and third for players, or not really?
No. Justin Turner, third, yes. He's a major preference. But again, only if you get that shortstop. If you just get Justin Turner independent of that, it makes you better, but it doesn't move the needle at all. You go from 78 to 80 wins to 81 to 82. It's you always say this beautifully on the show. Bellinger, Mervis, third base, catcher, those are moves that improve you on the margins, right?
Right, margin, yeah.
Well, before you can get to the margins, you got to get to the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes is the shortstop position.
And that's why it's confusing that they would check off Bellinger and Tyone last week and then not check the biggest box. That would be super frustrating.
And of course, it's not by choice. They're in a wrestling match here, but if they were to do it, it would make a lot more sense. Nathan, you want me to hit this comment?
Yeah. There's like a 1% chance that happens, and I have no clue why.
Yeah, Nathan, I have no idea why we're not in on Carlos Rodon. Zero. People are talking about Carlos Correa's injury risk. I mean, Rodon has a huge injury risk too, but that guy can pitch, and I would love to have him, and he would move mountains for this ball club.
Yeah, he would.
In an ideal world, we act like a big market. We were to get Swanson and Rodon, but those days are over. I don't live in Chicago. I don't live in Chicago anymore. Let me take a walk around Kansas City.
Speaking of that, here's a comment from Alex, who in this scenario, Swanson signs first. So if the Giants sign Swanson, Correa will sign with the Cubs. He doesn't want to go back to Minnesota, and the Cubs shouldn't be outbid by Minnesota. So let's take that last part of the sentence, folks.
Here we go.
Of course they shouldn't be outbid by Minnesota. Then the Giants have had immense success in the 2010s, even now the last couple of years. They've been great. But you should never get outbid by Minnesota or San Fran. You can't. So the finalists for these three guys, the crossover, the Venn diagram, is the Cubs, the Giants, and the Twins. Okay, we established that in the opening seconds of the show.
Right.
If you get outbid by one of these teams, especially the Twins, respectfully to the great city of Minneapolis, okay, I will leave no stone unturned.
Oh, come on.
I won't. It's absurd because at the end of the day, what is the barrier? It can't be money. Cubs have that. It can't be years because Jed shouldn't care about the years. So that was a big discussion from today's show that was posted that we recorded last night. And so there's a lot of factors, obviously, at work.
Jeffrey, the excuse next year will be we don't like any of the players that are available, which makes it even more crazy. Which makes it even more crazy that they're not pouncing right now.
It does, yeah. Let me pull up just some info here on Narvaez for those that are keeping track. This is from Michael. Little bit of numbers on him.
Yeah, it'd be a great pick. It'd be a good pickup. It'd be a good marginal pickup, Narvaez.
And yeah, it would be. It would be.
And I think Gomes hit lefties better than righties. So right there's your catcher platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Navarez is a straight lefty or is he a switch hitter? He's a straight lefty.
I thought he was lefty. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a straight lefty. Yeah. He was good. I think he made the All-Star team once. No, he could play. He could play. But again, if you just sign Navarez, great. It's a couple more wins.
I don't see a path to signing. I see some comments about Dom Smith, formerly of the Mets.
Why do we want Dom Smith? He's a left-handed hitting first baseman. We have Mervis.
I wouldn't like that.
No,
I think Mervis is ready, guys.
And someone's gonna say to DH.
No, please.
Better guys.
He has very low value right now. I'll just say that.
Apparently, so do we financially.
Yeah. Oh,
Dom Smith batted 194 last year with a 560 OPS. I might as well DH Madrigal.
All right, we're gonna do a few more minutes here. Big Rand has a
Big Rand
and good stuff right here.
A regular listen to the show. Regular.
Okay, this is a great question that could carry us really the rest of the show. Do you think the Cubs even have a clue?
What if I don't want it
on how the fans feel about this?
Yeah, they know. They got burner accounts and Twitter.
Do they care though?
Well, clearly not. If they don't make a move. I mean, if they make a move, yeah, they know. They know. These guys are smarter than you and I are. That's for sure.
Right.
They know. They're not stupid. But you can, for $36, go ice skating at Wrigley Field for the Winter Wonderland with Mr. Ricketts, and then stay at the Hotel Zachary for about $680 a night.
Well, they had a Winter Wonderland special on Marquee this week. You know what I would like a special on? How about them breaking in on news that they signed Correa or Swanson?
Yeah, right.
Okay, get your suit jacket ready so you guys can go on live.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's absurd.
What about the Javier Baez trade rumor? I have not heard that.
No, that's not out there.
I haven't heard that.
No.
Does all the hate go away? Yeah, listen, GR Tan. We're not hating, guys.
I don't think it's gotten to that level.
We're just reacting. Right now, we don't have one of these two guys, and I thought we would by now, so I'm getting pensive and nervous. If they sign one of these two guys, apprehensive. What did I say?
Pensive.
What does that mean?
Not sure. I thought maybe you were talking about your pension.
No, I think pensive is also a word that fits there.
All right. Well, I should have corrected you. I should have just kept going.
No, it was the wrong word choice. Anyway.
All right.
If they sign one of these two guys, I'll come in here with a bouquet and say, you did your job. It took a little longer than I thought, but thank you. And let's improve on the margins. But until we do, we're going to speculate because that's what a daily podcast does. Drury. I keep seeing people comment on Drury.
I got it up. I'm
Pedro
a good producer.
Martinez. Hey, Pedro, congrats on a hell of a career. One of the greatest right-handed pitchers of all time. In the late 90s, there was no better pitcher in all the land, maybe ever. Love your work on MLB Network. No, I'm just joking.
TBS as well.
Yeah, I said earlier on in one of the earlier live streams, Drury would make a ton of sense to platoon with Mervis at first base because he crushes lefties, or at least last year. I think he had like a 965 OPS against lefties last year. He was an all-star last year. And guess what? He could play a little bit of third, so you kill two birds with one stone with a utility player. That makes a ton of sense. That move I wouldn't even consider on the margins. That would actually really help him. Haven't heard one thing about it.
Where do you think that I'm trying to zoom in on one of the questions here.
Emmett?
Let's show David. Let's show David. So David says, forget about the pitching. Now, I don't agree with that. I understand that offense should be the priority, but I do feel like a more if you did strike out on the ace, on the player X idea that we had in August,
which we did,
you have to get depth. If that's bringing back Drew Smiley, okay.
No,
but I do think you need one more addition.
Disagree wholeheartedly. They got, what do you mean depth? They got, let's run through their starters right now that are all basically the same guys. So Stroman, Tyone, Steele, Hendricks, Wisniewski, Keegan Thompson, Adrian Sampson. There's a ton of these guys.
What about here? Let me show Victor's comment.
Do you think Noah Syndergaard moves mountain?
I don't think so, and not anymore. He's not throwing heat. He's not throwing gas anymore, but Evaldi would be a huge pickup.
Huge.
I use huge liberally there, but you know what I mean.
It would be a nice upgrade from the
Nice
fifth
upgrade.
from the fifth up guy, but he doesn't do anything close to
All
raising
right.
this team's team like a shortstop does. Because
I'm not saying in absence of a shortstop. I'm saying in addition to.
No, but I agree with David. I don't think pitching matters until they get some bats.
All right.
I like their pitching. I just think they don't have a staff that could go toe-to-toe with an elite rotation in October. But that's – I'm not thinking about October right now unless, Halloween comes around.
Right. All right, what else here as we start to wrap up? It's been a great time so far.
I guess I'll close by saying I really do think the Cubs pitching is in a better spot than people think, because I think their new philosophy is working. And I think they're going to get the most out of pitchers that you might not think they're going to get a lot out of.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and I know I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm worried about that shortstop first, and then I'll worry about the rest. I like Tyone. I like Stroman. I think Steele has more room to grow. We don't know about Wisniewski yet. Maybe Killian takes a jump. I wouldn't overreact to him having, a rough go at the big leagues last year. I mean, Corbin Burns in Arizona was the worst pitcher in baseball. And then, we haven't hit a double off of him, since God knows when, outside of Suzuki.
I do think that Correa or Swanson. I don't know if I don't think it matters that I make this prediction, but I had a feeling going into the week.
Agree with you, Bryce. Agree with you.
I do think that one of them was going to sign this week. Now I'm not so sure. But with that, I feel good about the Cubs' position, because right now they're just in a stare down, the teams and these players, especially Correa. But the Cubs are in the stare down. They're one of the three teams that are there. So as long as this is going to take, I don't know who that favors, but I feel like the timeline isn't necessarily a predictor of who's going where. I really don't.
Could you imagine if they came out and said, hey, we got Swanson and, we were short on Correa, and about 3 hours later they signed Rodon? Wow. I think I'd give one of our listeners first row tickets to opening day if that happened.
Yeah, that would be pretty nuts.
We will be doing, I haven't told you this because these things slip my mind. We will be
Why haven't you told me?
We will be doing some sort of opening day, some type of giveaway, because our listeners are killing it. I
would even maybe like to do some sort of event.
Yeah, some sort of event, but we'll do some type of giveaway. I don't know. I'll get tickets or something. I'm moving at the end of the month. Once I get that all squared away, I don't do very well with change.
I got a gift for you, by the way, for your background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm really excited to give that to you.
I promised 2 listeners that when I move and get a legitimate setup here, I'm going to be putting something in my background. And it's not going to be Jonathan VR.
Yes. And what are we going to do about the recycled episode? Is that going to be released on Christmas or New Year's?
That's up to you. You're the executive pro.
Okay.
I'm just on this show. People don't realize that. I'm here for 38 minutes, and however long we're done, you're here before and after.
Let me think about that. I would love to do a live show from the Cubs convention. Not sure what that looks like, but I don't think right now either of us have plans. So we'll see about that.
We got you, Joe. We got you. If we get one of those guys, we'll be live ASAP. If it happens in the middle of the day at 1-2, fortunately we're both employed, so we won't be able to do that. But the second that we're available, we will be live. And if there's a situation where I can't, Matt will do it. If there's a situation where Matt can't, I'll do it. One of us, probably both of us, will be live.
Absolutely.
If and when that happens. You have my word.
All right. So we can let's see, where's that at? We could remove that from the screen.
Oh yeah, sorry. I keep showing them and I don't get rid of them.
That's all right.
And God bless you.
Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap up here inside of the 40 mark.
A lot of publicity for Joe here.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah. Okay, great. And really happy that you joined us. Over 200 at one point, and we're going to keep moving along. This is the regular episode that we recorded that you just eavesdropped on for Wednesday. So if you are viewing us in real time, the next new content we'll have, pending on any breaking news, will be on Thursday. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.